In LA this week.
I'm Anna Marcos. Paintball gun attacks on the rise. We'll speak to a victim coming up.
A new batch of LAPD officers at a time of controversy over how officers should treat fellow citizens. Find out what city leaders told them coming up.
A first-of-its-kind collaboration between the city's Information Technology Agency and the mayor's office to share information about cyber threats to businesses as well as individuals throughout our city. I'm Gil Reyes with more on how you can sign up.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Paintball may sound like a fun pastime of shooting paint pellets at fellow players, but a real-life paintball attack can bring criminal charges by the LAPD as attacks in LA skyrocket. Anna Marcos talks to a young victim.
Aaron Marugo looks like any regular kid headed to school, but he still suffers the physical and emotional scars of a paintball attack in an apparent drive-by. It almost took out his eye. He and his family were attending an outdoor party.
The car slowed down and it shot me.
Now, Aaron's mother says she has a hard time letting him out of her sight, even when he goes to school, and he's afraid to play outside. When they told me someone shot Aaron, I thought it was with a real bullet, and I thought my life was ending. I still feel horrible.
As you can see from the photos, Aaron was just inches away from either losing his eye or even possible brain damage.
Aaron is recovering, and the scar may fade with time. But police say paintball incidents are on the rise. Last year, there were 24 attacks in L.A. So far, this year has already seen 68 attacks, an increase of 183%. Police believe social media may be fueling the trend.
They're going out, they're videotaping as they go by and shoot at people with the paintball guns and then posting them. And so I think, social media has probably got a definite part in the increase that we've seen.
So what kind of a paintball causes this type of damage? Police say both the paintballs and the guns can be modified, but they've asked us not to share the information on how they do it for fear of encouraging more attacks.
As far as the crimes go, they've been using robberies, they've been using aggravated assaults, they've been using vandalism. There's an array of crimes that these individuals have used paintball guns.
Police warn perpetrators that a moment of so-called paintball fun could lead to a felony. Aaron's 4 alleged attackers have been arrested on charges of assault with a deadly weapon. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Witnesses of these or other crimes can make a report anonymously by calling Crime Stoppers at 800-222-8477. Imagine a cyber neighborhood watch where local businesses can warn each other about ransomware they've experienced while using city resources to prevent attacks. No need to imagine. This technology is already here. Gil Reyes has more from the city's Emergency Operations Center. Gil.
Yana, you may be surprised at the number of times the city of LA's vast computer network comes under attack by hackers, an estimated 4 million times per day. Well, now the city has launched an initiative to share some of that information with the public, and the hope is businesses as well as individuals share their experiences too. Lawrence Yu is owner of Zenku Sushi and Grill in Little Tokyo. His small business has not been hacked yet. But if it were to happen, even for one day, he says results could be devastating.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we get hacked in our computer system, then we have to shut down our business.
An estimated $2,000 wasted per day if hackers disabled the restaurant's payment process and deliveries via DoorDash. But aiming to thwart such a cyber attack is the new LA Cyber Lab, billed as America's first city-led partnership to protect businesses and residents from malware and ransomware.
We believe that the City of Los Angeles should lend a hand to business, that we should help connect them with each other and share information with them. That businesses big and small deserve secure networks that allow them to make the next payroll for residents here in Los Angeles, the next delivery for people who live here in LA.
Helping out too is the city's Information Technology Agency. It stops millions of cyber attacks against the city every day. Attacks coming from all over the world.
We're a very attractive target. We run the LA Police Department, we run LAX, we run the largest port in the Western Hemisphere, so we receive a lot of attacks. So we get a lot of threats that we block very successfully. So let's pivot and make the shift so we're not just defending the City of Los Angeles government, but we're helping LA businesses and residents protect themselves.
Big companies like AEG, Microsoft, and Riot Games have now signed on to LA Cyber Lab.
We're able to work with and collaborate with all of our partners to make sure we bring this not to just the big businesses that were mentioned, but more importantly, the small mom and pop businesses, the ones that are operating home-based businesses, the brick and mortar companies that can't afford to find out what information they're vulnerable for.
To receive free updated cyber alerts, log on to lacyberlab.org. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Again, this service is free and is expected to work best with more local businesses and individuals participating. While living in LA, we know that summer means brush fires, and LA firefighters are gearing up with 2 additions to their firefighting air fleet. Anna Marcos has more on what it means for all of us.
Brush fire season has arrived in LA as the Santa Ana winds blow head-on into LA's dustiest conditions. But firefighters are ready as they debut their newest water-dropping helicopter, the Fire 4. That means LA now has 4 firefighting choppers and 2 command and control helicopters.
It's multi-mission. It can do brush fires, it can do cliff rescue, air ambulance, hoist operations. That's part of the reason that we bought this type of aircraft.
LA firefighters are also welcoming the yearly return of the Erickson Sky Crane helitanker, which can drop a whopping 2,600 gallons of water in one single drop. The Sky Crane is contracted to the city for the most dangerous part of the fire season. Another plus, LA fire choppers can be almost anywhere in the city in under 15 minutes.
It takes our crews anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes to mobilize the fleet. That means pulling the aircraft out of the hangar, starting the aircraft, getting the crews loaded with the equipment, and getting airborne.
But there is one thing that can ground the choppers quick.
Operators of drones must not, I repeat, must not fly their unmanned aircraft anywhere near a brush fire. A drone that collides with a helicopter rotor blade can bring down a helicopter.
As long as drones don't get caught in the rotor blades, LA is more fire ready than ever, equipped to take on whatever the fire season brings. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The LA Fire Department often partners with LA County Fire, which can bring the total number of choppers to more than 10, including 2 big helitankers. Well, can city agencies go totally gas-free? Well, LA Metro plans to do it for its vehicle fleet by the year 2030. And now the Port of LA and Long Beach are setting their own zero-emission targets. Gil Reyes has the details.
The mayors of LA and Long Beach have an ambitious goal: 0 emissions at their shared port complex within 20 years.
Because this is really brave new territory. We're talking inside privately. We'll set these goals and there will be setbacks. They might be scientific setbacks. They might be that the technology's not there. But if we don't keep pushing and we don't have those goals, we'll never get there.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti and Long Beach Mayor Robert Garcia are shooting for 0 carbon emissions for all cargo handling equipment by the year 2030. This equipment includes port cranes. They're also shooting for gas-free 0 emissions for all port trucks by the year 2035.
Also in a direct statement that we will not go backwards in this country and in the region, but that we will push back every single step of the way to ensure that we meet the goals of the Paris Agreement and that Los Angeles and Long Beach continue to lead.
Though the ports of LA and Long Beach have greatly reduced emissions under the 2006 Clean Air Action Plan, their port complex remains the biggest single diesel polluter in Southern California.
And if any port in the world receives 0 emissions, it must be our port complex, and we must do it first. If we don't, who will?
At the ports of LA and Long Beach, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
An updated Clean Air Action Plan is expected in November. It's expected to include new investments in green technology, also plans to set up agreements with other West Coast ports to drastically reduce pollution. As port officials work to keep our air clean, other city departments are doing their part to keep our streets clean. In fact, they're doing such a great job, they got an award for their efforts. Anna Marcos explains.
No street or alley is too dirty or garbage-filled for these guys. The Bureau of Sanitation Workers are part of the Clean Stat LA initiative, which in turn is part of the mayor's larger Clean Streets initiative, a plan to sanitize and spiff up all of LA's streets.
The mayor really wanted to find a way to ensure that every neighborhood has a basic level of cleanliness.
All this house cleaning just clinched this group a National City Livability Award at the 2017 U.S. Conference of Mayors.
To see where our city workers hit the streets in and out is some of the most dangerous, hazardous, and serious work of our city.
Under the Clean Stat program, sanitation workers drive through all the city's 6,500 miles of streets and 800 miles of alleys every few months. Each block gets a cleanliness score from 1 to 3. The Clean Stat program helps city workers know where to send the cleanup crews.
Achieving out of the box, achieving creative, achieving forward-thinking endeavors requires great leadership.
It was something that even in a film task force meeting, the film industry thanked us for because they're on location around our city.
So it appears many of LA's streets are camera-ready and ought to be in the movies. Still, city workers say plenty of streets lag behind with a grade of 1. They plan to keep working until all LA streets make Tinseltown proud. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Sanitation workers say the City Livability Award they won makes LA's Clean Streets program a model for cities around the country. It's a biennial athletic event bringing together police and fire agencies from around the world, all in one competitive space. Rasha Goel has more.
The opening ceremony and parade of athletes for the World Police and Fire Games kicked off recently at the Los Angeles Coliseum with 8,600 athletes from more than 70 countries. LAPD Chief Charlie Beck offered some friendly advice to the competitors.
Remember, if you're competing against a Los Angeles police officer, we'll love you when it's over, but not until then.
The athletes are active and retired law enforcement officers and firefighters and will compete in 65 Olympic-style events over a 10-day period.
I hope to come away with medals. I'm pretty good at what I do. If I can beat some Americans along the way, even better.
Come here for one reason, and is to put an example for the other people to be friendly and good players.
Athletes will compete in a variety of sports and track and field events. They will also box, swim, shoot trap, and ride off-road motorcycles.
You have a universal human impulse that is the very best in us, to wake up, to put on your uniforms, and to protect human life. We welcome you to Los Angeles, to the World Police and Fire Games, to experience the best that our city and our region have to offer.
And regardless of who takes home a medal at this competition, all of these competitors have already won with their commitment to the call of duty. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
But before you can compete, you have to join the force. And that's exactly what 44 individuals just did, becoming the latest group to join the ranks of the LAPD. Anna Marcos takes us to the latest graduation at a time when police conduct has again taken center stage across the nation.
Hats up in the air for graduating rookie class 217, now turned into full-fledged LAPD officers.
It takes a certain person to become a police officer, and
What kind of person?
It just the person who's gonna go into the fight instead of run away from. Someone who's brave. I thought about that, and I knew that I had that in me.
And it's a tough moment for police. People are killing police officers for who they are, and others are telling them, oh, don't worry about the rules, and you can rough up suspects, people like our president. And I think it's so important for us to give a vision of what makes LA police so strong, that we play by the rules, but that we also protect the people.
City leaders and the police chief make it clear what times these rookies are policing in and what path they should take.
And you will never, ever do something as cowardly as to abuse a prisoner in custody. That is the ultimate betrayal of that badge that you wear.
The new recruits are diverse. They are women, military vets, and members of every ethnic group, including several immigrant recruits from various countries.
It was almost 20% female, and we had, I'd like to have more African-American representation.
Brittany Royer, one of 8 women, was also chosen as class leader.
I believe they thought that I could lead the class with discipline, command presence.
John Gill, whose own dad is an LAPD officer, was given the #1 overall award in the class because, well, he's just good at everything.
Once I knew he was going to the police academy, I knew he was just going to get a big award like this big or something.
And he did?
Yeah, and so I'm really proud of him.
It's a little nerve-wracking because I know what it's like out there on the streets. And he's going to be boots running and hitting the ground pretty soon in the next couple of days. So a little proud and nervous at the same time.
Still, the family has high hopes for this rookie.
Tell me what you think he'll be.
I feel like he's going to be a chief.
Okay, rookie John Gill, just a few more promotions to go. But for him and all 44 of these young cops, just wearing the badge is promotion enough. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Neglected, dilapidated. Those are just some of the words to describe the old Jordan Downs public housing complex in Watts. But that's changing. As Gil Reyes reports, phase 1 of a startling spruce-up has already started.
Jordan Downs housing complex in Watts begins its billion-dollar transformation. The goal, to turn it into a national model for mixed-use public housing.
We've got a housing crisis, and we need to build more units, and that starts right here, right now, today.
Mayor Eric Garcetti and friends break ground on phase 1 of construction. Opening next year, 115 new affordable housing units. Future phases of construction will add even more housing at Jordan Downs. 9 sprawling acres of open space, a snazzy, state-of-the-art community center, restaurants, a grocery store, and...
The renewed Watts will have also more jobs, as the mayor indicated. 30% of the workforce that will build this development will come from here, Watts.
But there is controversy at Jordan Downs. Lead, arsenic, and other toxins found in the soil of the construction area a few years ago. Though much of it has been removed, activists want more soil testing and cleanup before work begins. State regulators and the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles say the area is safe. That's good enough for the mayor.
We are a part of breathing hope back into one of the greatest communities in the heart of this great city. Thank you, Watts, and God bless each and every one of you.
In Watts, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Developers say current residents of Jordan Downs won't be displaced during construction, and they'll be moving into the new addition once the first 115 units are finished next year. Turning now to making a main thoroughfare in the valley a more walkable, bikeable college town destination. The neighborhood of Reseda recently got a big cultural boost during 7 summer days. Gil Reyes has more.
This normally quiet stretch of Reseda Boulevard is bustling with bands and business.
It's really great. It's a great place for the community to get together and enjoy all the artwork and the talent that we have here. There's live music, there's different, booths and businesses that you wouldn't normally, just pop into.
We're at the second annual Reseda Boulevard Summer Series. For years, Reseda Boulevard has been a strip people usually just drove through. But that may be changing with new sidewalk improvements and 7 recent Saturdays of walkable, bikeable, multicultural experiences.
We have food trucks, 3 live music stages, we have an art walk, art installation, vendors, businesses, a little bit of everything.
CJ Barina is owner of Collective Lifestyle, a Reseda Boulevard store specializing in streetwear. They also host live music, political, and spoken word events. So a festival of free expression with neighboring businesses participating is right up their alley. A grant from the Department of Cultural Affairs helped make it happen.
I think it's good to have a street festival in Northridge because they have a lot of events like this in Hollywood, and you have to go down to Hollywood, but I only live a few blocks away from this.
The festival takes place near Cal State University Northridge, home to the Valley Performing Arts Center and eclectic KCSN College Radio. An arts and music festival within a mile of campus seems like a good fit for many people.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's a really community event. Like a lot of people here are just from the Valley. I'm just from the Valley too, so it's definitely a good place to network, to showcase, and to sell.
The more that you can support local small businesses in and around the Los Angeles area and in the Valley here, it makes more sense. It helps the economy. It makes it a better community to live in.
At the Reseda Boulevard Summer Series, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Reseda Boulevard near CSUN has also recently added new sidewalks, bright yellow benches, and bike protective lanes. Improvements to make visiting more pleasant for cyclists and students. While a new program may potentially make it easier to park on street sweeping days, an up-and-coming media company invests in LA by making downtown its new home, and the very first diagonal crosswalk in Van Nuys gets the green light. All these stories in Citybeat. The LA City Council approved a pilot program aimed at reducing the number of parking citations issued for street sweeping. Residents would be informed via a text or online tool when street sweepers have finished cleaning a street, making it safe to park there. The program would be implemented in Woodland Hills and West Los Angeles before potentially expanding to the entire city if successful. A report on the pilot program said it would be expected to take about 8 to 10 months to implement at a cost of $570,000. If the program were to go citywide, initial estimates show that LA could lose between $4.5 million and $11.8 million in parking citation revenue. The pilot program will now go to the full city council for a vote. Mayor Eric Garcetti helped welcome digital media company Me Too to its new headquarters in downtown LA. The company brings a Latino voice and perspective to mainstream entertainment across multiple platforms. It also works with the mayor's Hire LA Youth Initiative to recruit more young people in LA. The mayor said that everyone has a story that needs to be shared and heard.
And if you can tell your stories and connect, which you do every single day, Me Too has the power to change the world.
City Councilwoman Nuri Martinez and the LA Department of Transportation recently celebrated the completion of the San Fernando Valley's first all-way stop-controlled diagonal crosswalk at the intersection of Sylvan Street and Sylmar Avenue at City Hall in Van Nuys. The location was chosen because of the high number of pedestrians that use the intersection. Officials say that the city's other diagonal scramble crosswalks have shown dramatic benefits to pedestrian safety. Officials say this new diagonal crosswalk is expected to have the same safety benefits to pedestrians.
The improvements like this will continue to revitalize the community of Van Nuys and making sure that people who live and work in this community get to work and home safely every day.
Lobster lovers converged on this yearly neighborhood party where mouth-watering seafood was the star of the show. Ana Marcos has the delicious details from the 11th annual San Pedro Lobster Festival.
Hats off to the lobster, or should we say, hats on. Lots of lobster lovers were sporting the little lobster beanies as San Pedro's annual Lobster Festival kicked off near the USS Iowa in honor of the start of the lobster season.
I love festivals. I'm a huge festival person.
Los Angeles is such an iconic city. To have the community all come together around such a historic piece as the Iowa is just breathtaking.
All this lobster mania helps drum up an appetite. And of course, what's a lobster festival without some of the red-clawed creatures? We found lots of those going on plates, carried on plates, and most of all, eaten off plates.
I definitely think the food's the best part.
And then a little music as all those red claws get digested. An epic block party that went on for days. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Get up close and personal with some Navy ships as they flex their mighty muscle during Fleet Week. Enjoy a classic mob flick under the stars, and immerse yourself in some powerful stage readings and other performances at Leimert Park. All this in this week's Things to Do. Navy warships from the U.S. and Canada and their crews will sail into the port of Los Angeles to kick off Los Angeles Fleet Week. During Labor Day weekend, the port will be filled with activities aboard the historic battleship Iowa, with concerts under the guns, a series of free music and comedy shows, entertainment, and lots of food. The festivities go on all weekend long, starting on Tuesday, August 29th until September 4th. For more, visit lafleetweek.com. If you happen to be on the other side of town, bring a picnic blanket and head over to the Autry's South Lawn to watch Goodfellas, projected onto the largest outdoor movie screen on the West Coast. Some of the city's tastiest food trucks and local bands will be on hand. It all takes place on Saturday, September 2nd. The Autry in Griffith Park is located at 4700 Western Heritage Way. For more, visit eatseehere.com. The Leimert Park Vision Theater Consortium and the City of Los Angeles Department of Cultural Affairs announced the 4th annual Vision Theater Festival of Staged Readings, which feature a wide range of performance events, including staged readings, receptions, panel discussions, artist talkbacks, and educational events. All productions feature the finest talent on stage and behind the scenes that LA has to offer. The festival is devoted to supporting culture and art making in Leimert Park and South LA with an eye towards the African American experience and legacy. The festival runs until Sunday, September 3rd. For more, call 323-290-2386. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitybeat.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.